Buzzword today is cloud, and I think that it's misused and misunderstood by most people. But it's a real handy way for people to incorporate a whole bunch of different technologies under one umbrella. There are really four types of clouds. There is a public cloud, which we use all the time, the Google Maps, the LinkedIns, the Dropboxes, the Boxes, open really for anyone to use. You get some security, but essentially you're using a mass tool set or a mass server. Then the next level is a private workspace where you will carve out for your organization or your department or your associates or affiliates for a short period of time or for a long period of time a workspace which is usually in what's called a multi-tenancy environment. So it's a very large server, but it is divided up into segments that can be used effectively by organizations and can have whatever functionality that you need in there. And that's really for more smaller departmental use. Then there are what we lean towards for most clients is a private server. So you, instead of having a local data center and a local area network server in your office, the ability to move that up to the cloud and have it in a Rackspace or Azure or Amazon or here in Vancouver, Pier 1, these are full virtual machines. So these are servers just like what you would have in your office, but they're run in an environment. We work with Rackspace, and they're managing over 100,000 servers every day. They really know how to back them up, how to patch them, and how to look after customer service. It's sort of like the power company. You don't want to run your own power company. You want to use a utility. And then what we're seeing is for corporations who have concerns, they have a data center, they have local area networks, they're going to use a hybrid cloud. So they're going to use a combination of technologies that are linked together because a lot of organizations have Active Directory and security concerns and users that they really want to manage some data very, very closely. So what we look at is that the pros and cons, everything has pros and cons. Obviously, much lower IT cost is the biggest reason that IT companies or IT departments are really looking at what applications can they push out of house. And typically, from our experience, facilities management is the first thing IT wants to get rid of. They don't want anything to do with CAD, they don't want anything to do with BIM, they don't want anything to do with a bunch of stuff that is heavy duty for a very small number of users. Their job is to keep the email system running and Microsoft Office running and keep security and backup and firewalls working. They don't really want troublemakers, which are in this room. So easy access from anywhere. We're seeing mobile workers. We're seeing people work all the time, although we learned today we're not supposed to do that. Work-life balance doesn't mean you can always work everywhere. Unlimited resources means that you can pretty much put any application up on the cloud or find one that is up there already. And the performance is much greater because typically cloud servers are on the backbone of the internet. So if you have a server in your office, it has to push data up. And your up-speed connection is usually minute. They use the expression sucking peanut butter up a straw. It's very difficult to get data up to the cloud, whereas you want to put the data up on the cloud and have everybody feed the beast. So then you get ongoing improvements because most of these applications are updated by the software development teams all the time without them having to come onto your premise or in via VPN to work on your environment. It's all being done in the cloud on off hours. And it's easy to start and easy to scale. You can just, if you've ever used any of these cloud services, you get little sliders to say, I want another 5 gigabytes of RAM or another 200 terabytes of data storage, or I want 5 cores, 10 cores. How much horsepower do you want is really just a matter of a credit card. So that's all the good stuff. The cons are everybody has privacy concerns from top to bottom in government and organizations. And security controls, are they something you administer or are they being done by other folks you don't really know or trust? Do you have assurance in your backup and in your data access? If I needed to pull all my data off, can I get it in mass in a format I can use? Geolocation of data. If you are sensitive data and your data is in the United States, it may be subject to Patriot Act or HIPAA exposure to government whims down there. Customization locks. Can you modify and customize the software you want to your organization? That's sometimes difficult in the cloud. And then integration limitations. If you want to tie your existing systems in the hybrid model, it can be a bit of a challenge depending on how you're structured. So the cloud is something that everybody is going to be using more and more. And when we look at BIM, where the data is such a large amount of actual bits and bytes, we call them large binary objects, they are enormous. You can't really even bring them to your office. They have to sit in the cloud and be serviced by the people who actually know how to service the model, and you become a client and do as Geraldine suggested, you're the search, you just do a Google search on your BIM model and should be able to get back that information.